Well, hello, hello, hello. Welcome.
Good evening.
To Brian&Carrie in the morning and night. Again. You guys are so patient with us also because we do not mean to keep jiving this all around.
I know, right?
Look at, you pick up and you move. There's going to be a couple fallouts here and there. We've experienced ours last week. Last week we had to do Brian&Carrie in the morning and night like 3 times.
That's right.
And of course right now.
Yeah.
And this all just happenstance based on kids schooling and driving things we weren't expecting and having to go back in the city. But like whatever, life's dynamic. As a matter of fact, that's what tonight's show. What are you laughing at?
There's so many funny things happening in my head.
Especially because like we look like we're sitting in the dark. But whatever. That's what tonight's show is all about. That it's about the dynamics.
Yeah, I agree.
And we're gonna talk about the dynamics. We're gonna talk about our kids. We're gonna talk about you being a mirror.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be a really fun, I think, show.
It's gonna be fantastic.
So if you trust us and know that we are gonna earn this, you should just share it out right now.
Share it out.
What do you keep laughing at?
I'll tell you as soon as you're done.
Well, I feel done. I just want to say hello to Monica, who says bonsoir.
Bonsoir, Monica.
Connie, Brian says fun shit. Papa Drax, Robin's here, Lynette, Steve, Month Finesse.
Look at the crew in the
Crew
house.
is here, right on. Where my crew at?
Crew.
Yes.
Crew. So, can I say something? I want to say something to all of you who are here right now because, you know, every name that I'm reading right now, I believe chimed in earlier on the post this morning when we announced that we had to change the time.
Yes.
So, oh my gosh, I love you, quite simply, for tuning in and being here. But, like, what am I laughing at? There's so many things I'm laughing at. The primary thing that I'm laughing at is that light is so bright.
Oh, yeah, you can't look that direction. You know what? I'm so sorry. I need to stop the presses.
Go.
Because Carrie Sandy.
Hi, Carrie!
Just said hi, guys. Now, you got to understand. Because I'm giving a quick backstory to Carrie Sandy, who right now is in Italy watching this. And it's like 4 o'clock in the morning or something.
I want to give the start of that backstory, but
yeah,
you go first.
No, please. Go ahead.
Okay, so...
You got everybody. We have 5 minutes left in our pre-show. And Carrie, you're going to love tonight's episode on top of it all.
It's a great episode.
It's a parenting kind of thing.
You know, so I've never met Carrie. She just
right.
said, hi, Carrie. And Sean, thank you. We do need some more light bulbs. But Carrie was Brian's high school girlfriend.
Yes.
And am I right in saying your most serious high school girlfriend? Like the one that was...
vulnerability is not a problem for me.
Yeah.
So, Carrie, I'm not speaking for you, right? But... I don't know if Carrie was my most serious high school girl, but I was drop dead, head over heels in love.
You know, I love that
with
story.
This girl.
Well, that's the side of the story I know,
you
right?
You gotta understand. Carrie Sandy she's gorgeous. She is so unbelievable.
Long hair.
Oh, and she's so intelligent. Like her brain is ridiculous.
I was just gonna say that. And Carrie, because Carrie, I know everything about you from when you guys were 17. Is that how old you were?
I was 17.
Yeah. So it's really funny though because I'm gonna keep going about Carrie for a second. But do you remember when I introduced you to Ryan, who was my height, like the guy I was like, this is the guy I was going to marry when I was 13.
Right.
You know?
Absolutely.
But no, I mean, Carrie was the, you know, Brian was head over heels in love with her.
Yes.
I've heard so many stories. It's not even funny.
Right.
And I can't wait to meet you in person.
And sometimes Carrie and I trade private messages on Facebook.
Yeah.
We reminisce about the most ridiculously stupid, insignificant memories. She comes out of her ass with things like, do you remember the time? And I'm like, what? No. And then I'm like, yeah, but do you remember the time? She's a doll.
Do you know
and I can't believe she's here live.
I can't divulge this in all like detail, but my favorite Carrie story is that all of your passcodes are still passcodes that you had when you were dating Carrie.
It's a true story.
So true.
It's a true story. So
every number he ever uses is a number from when he was with Carrie.
I'm positive that this, what I'm about to say, is a really bad idea.
I'm
positive.
I think it's probably not smart.
But I can code this. You know, like your ATM numbers and all that? Mine haven't changed since I was 17.
But he gets new cards, right?
I get new cards all the time.
Yeah, so he gets new cards, new computers, everything.
It's the same because it's easy for me to remember.
It's the best thing.
Not just because it's the same number I've had for 30 whatever years, but it's landmarked of the time I spent, you know, in my life with Carrie, who lived up the street from me.
Yeah.
this is the thing that trips me out, is that I lived here and she lived literally up the street. I mean, we're from Canada, right? So I could have thrown a snowball and hit her house. That's how close we were. But I never even saw her. I never met her until we went to high school together and a mutual friend introduced us. And I'm like, where the fuck have you been all my life?
Right?
Literally. I'm just so happy she's here.
So, Carrie, don't worry, because money's in the accounts that have my numbers on it.
Yeah.
Just joking. There are so many stories that are going through my head right now that you have told me about you and Carrie, or your time dating her, as a teenager, that some of them are embarrassing.
All of them are embarrassing.
And they're like...
I can tell one right now.
My favorite one... Wait. I have two favorite ones.
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell one of them because it would be really embarrassing to me if I told that
I'm going to tell it right now. I know exactly which one it is.
When you left the house?
Yes.
Okay, you tell that.
Carrie. And
no, I want to tell it. So, Carrie, he was like, so when we first started dating, I might not get all these details right, but he's like, I'd go over to... to Carrie's house and we'd hang out and all that stuff. And I had so much gas and I would hold the gas in the entire time I was there. But then I would leave her house and the whole way home I'd walk down the street.
I would rip ass from Carrie. Like, I would hold in this gas for like 5 hours. And she had like a basement apartment in her parents' house.
Yeah.
And I'd be doubled over in oh my god pain for like 3 of the 5 hours. But it was a new relationship, so you can't just like go. But as soon as I'd walk home, I'd just be like,
oh my god. It's my favorite story.
True story.
The other thing, we're off on a diatribe here, but I'm going to keep going. Sorry if my shirt's see-through. Apparently the light is making it more transparent.
Right on.
Thank you, Tiffany, for pointing that out. Lisa Arsenault just made a comment about not being jealous of the exes or whatever.
No.
So I want to say, Carrie, of course I have never met you and I adore you. But your other friend from childhood, Liz, who you are
Lizzie.
such close, we go to visit, your parents, and Lizzie comes over, and Lizzie and Brian are all cuddled up on the couch, and I'm just like, oh, I love you guys.
Lizzie,
you're so cute.
Lizzie was like my oldest friend in the world. We've been friends since we were 12.
That was great.
The thought of kissing Liz romantically makes me want to vomit. But not because she's not epic, but because she's my best friend for years, right? I just want to add, Carrie raises a great point. That was only at the very beginning, though, not at the end.
Because we all know what happens after
True.
day 2, right,
because
Carrie?
once Carrie and I were tight, I would be like, all movie long.
Because let me take that story and translate it up to when you moved to Montreal. Brian told me that the 17-hour drive from Chicago to Montreal, his biggest stress was farting in front of me.
Well, for the first day.
And then by day 2, he was like, whatever.
I don't care anymore.
We had a friend one time who
you guys are good sports out there.
Told him he better get that checked.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
You got to get that checked out because something is wrong.
Something wrong with you.
Anyways. Carrie, we're thrilled you're watching,
clearly.
and we are equally thrilled that everybody else, Sakowitz and Montefinesse and Natalie and everybody's here.
Because
that's awesome.
It is Fucked Up Monday, Brian. We didn't really have a Fucked Up Friday, so we've switched it to Monday.
Absolutely. But sorry, we finish. I thought you were done.
Because it's our show. We can do what we want to do.
We want to do, exactly. Let's get this rolling. Welcome to Brian and Carrie in the morning, at night, by happenstance. So appreciate your flexibility and your dynamics. We are live 5 days a week, 10 a.m. Eastern Time, most of the time, when life doesn't throw a curveball. But our pre-show starts at 9:50 a.m., and that's when all the fun really happens. We encourage you to be here for that.
Let's face it.
We're live right now in the beautiful Mount Tremblant, Quebec, and I love it here.
Which is right back there.
And if Sean Hummel, our real estate agent, would do something but putting lights on the mountain, you could see it. But no. Our requests have gone thwarted. Anyways, tonight's show for us is outstanding. It's all about life dynamics.
It is, yeah.
It's all about testimony and kids and parenting. Right? We're going to kind of weave all this in a sensible way that's going to, I think, make a lot of sense to you. So if we haven't asked already, which we have, but we're going to ask again because I'm shameless, we are going to earn your share tonight. So if you could help us out and share this right now with people in your newsfeed, we'd certainly appreciate that. And a quick point of order. Tomorrow, Tuesday, March, blah, 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 whatever tomorrow is.
The 7th.
7th?
I only know that for one reason, because Jamie and Scott come home today.
So tomorrow's the 7th.
7th.
Tuesday, March
There
7th,
you go.
our Let's Eliminate Your Limits, How to Finally Achieve the Goals You Set. The entire program, the journal, the daily reader, the 7 videos, and we have some surprise bonuses in there as well.
We have lots of surprise bonuses.
It goes live tomorrow!
Woohoo!
And this show is all about helping you understand why. Why is this an effective process? And why do we strongly suggest you get your grubby mitts on it?
Maybe they're not grubby mitts. Maybe they're clean mitts.
All right.
You get your clean mitts on it.
Well, there we are. Clean mitts.
Can I tell a really quick?
Of course you can.
You know, you mentioned the fact that we're gonna talk about our kids today.
Yes.
You know, and some dynamics. I can't remember if you just mentioned that or you mentioned it on the video when we shared.
I mentioned it right now, like 12 seconds ago. Hi.
But I just really wanted to make sure I was making sense there. But I just wanted to say that, you know, a couple of you who are tuning in right now chimed in last night on the post that we threw up with regards to the kids starting school today.
Yes.
And, you know, it really has been like, I just want to share the core of what that post was all about. You know, we had just said goodnight to the kids. And it was such a moment of reflection because, like, we realized, like, in the last month, they have, you know, been to Europe for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
They have traveled first class on a transatlantic flight, which was amazing. They have been at a villa in Spain amongst a retreat with a bunch of adults, and they've really been a part of that. They moved from Montreal to the mountains without even blinking an eye.
Yeah.
They said goodbye to friends, they said goodbye to teachers, they said goodbye to a lifestyle, and they welcomed in this lifestyle. And today was their first day of school.
Yes.
And when we tucked them into bed last night, there was no fear, there was no anxiety, there was no strain, there was just pure excitement. And as a matter of fact, when I woke up Maya this morning and I was like, it's your first day of school, she was like, super happy, you know?
Absolutely.
So I just wanted to wrap that around the concept. I think it's interesting we're talking about this tonight.
Agreed.
Based on that in particular.
I also want to add, Sharon, no, this is not alcohol. This is, in fact, a water bottle. It's a glass water bottle in the shade of black. Is black a shade?
No.
In the color of black?
No, shade. Black's a shade. It's not a color.
In the shade of black, and inside there's water. So, no, that's not even spiked with alcohol of any kind. So, Tammy Montefinesse is here. I totally dig her. You know, and I want to say one more thing. Okay, now we're kind of rolling.
Yeah.
It's actually so apropos that Kiri Sandy is here.
Yeah.
And I mean that very sincerely. Okay, so Kiri, if you're still watching, I know it's something like 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. You said so earlier in Italy where you are. Just chime in. Let us know you're still here because Kiri can lay foundation to this. I'm not going to ask her to.
Oh,
but
right.
she can lay foundation to this. You know, it never stops amazing me. I mean, really, that maybe as consumers, okay, Kiri's still here, yay. Maybe as consumers we have an expectation, and maybe as proprietors of products and services, we have an expectation as well. But you ever notice that what people do when they come out with new stuff is they have it third-party endorsed, right? So here, look at all the testimonials from my clients, and that's fine. I mean, it's classically called social proof.
Right.
That what we have to say is going to work for you. And here's a litany of people from around the world who can testify to that. There's nothing wrong with that. We do it ourselves. But it really gets us thinking that isn't the greatest social proof what we can tell you being our own experience? Truly. And I think I'm reflecting right now in almost, not a somber, but a really emotive way. And I'm reflecting about one thing. That my girlfriend for when I was 17 and she was 17 is on this call right now. And so, Kiri, you of course don't have to chime in. I'm not expecting you to. But she saw and she experienced, and it was 25 years ago, you might not remember, but she saw and experienced firsthand me, Brian Grasso, the Brian Grasso that everybody knows, in a very different light. She saw the beginning of my depression. She bore witness to the depth of my sadness. She saw the intensity of my anger and rage. She saw what became a very broken man. And happily for her, she didn't stick around long enough to live through all of the shit, and that's good. She went off to university, by the way. That wasn't a sad story. Did that sound like a sad story?
No, I don't think
she came to Montreal to go to McGill.
Yeah, no, that doesn't sound like a sad
good.
story.
But why?
She says she remembers it well.
Oh, okay. I hope in a good way.
Well, I'm sure it was hard for her to see you sad.
I can only imagine how challenging it was for a 17-year-old woman to have to watch that.
Of course.
Right? But, you know, do we have third-party testimony? Can we give you a shit ton of testimonials? Can we tell you that the United States Marine Corps has asked us to do work with soldiers on mindset? Can I tell you that I've worked with Olympic gold medalists? Can I tell you that I have worked with national team athletes from 5 different countries? Can Carrie tell you that she's been the bedrock for families who have children with special needs for 20 some odd years? Yeah, we can tell you all that. And we can have them tell you also.
Right.
But it really just gets us thinking that the best thing we could possibly do is tell you our truth. And our truth is that I was a broken man. I was a depressed man. I was an angry man. And that manifested itself in a lot of different ways. So for those of you who are watching right now who can relate to that kind of misery, that kind of depression, that kind of anger, that kind of, hopelessness, really. And maybe that's too far down the scale for you, but you can relate to stuck. You can relate to uncertain. You can relate to fear. You can relate to, I want more than this. That has been us.
Survival rather than living. You know, that was the big one for me.
I'm surviving life. I'm existing in life. I'm not living my life. So, I mean, yes, we can point to all the testimony, but I think our testimony speaks loudest.
Yeah, well, completely.
The Brian Grasso Carrie knew 25 years ago is not the Brian Grasso that she's going to meet again next Christmas.
Yeah.
Right? But that's not because of happenstance. That's not because I got lucky. That's not because I took medication. It's not because I had a good therapist. None of those things. It's because I decided one day to find answers about life, about perspective, about absolute truth versus the scalability of truth. I looked into spirituality. I read books on quantum physics. And it all started to make sense to me that the potential that is promised to us by every fortune cookie, every theological book, every self-help book really does exist. But you have to unlock it. You have to actively take the key, put it in the door, and unlock it. And unless or until you do, it doesn't unlock. But when you do, it does. And it does forever. And that's what this program, this whole how to finally achieve the goals you set is all about. It's about unlocking that door. These 4 exercises, which we detailed last week, and how do you make it yours in routine, which we talked about last week, they work. They've proven effective on this athlete and that national team and this family and these corporate CEOs and those entrepreneurs and those individual demographics have skyrocketed their success because of it. But the real reason I know it works is because I'm not dead. Because I wake up every morning happy as a pig in fuck. I go to bed every night grateful and giggly. And my life, every day of my life, is about, it's achievement. I set out to do something and I do it. And if you would have asked me 25 years ago if this was possible, I would have told you no.
Right. You know.
Anyways, I have more to say, but I'll stop there for now.
I just want to add a couple.
Did I rock that, everybody? Did everyone feel that?
Everybody felt it. Everybody was chiming in. I just want to add, something just dawns. You have those moments sometimes where you're listening to someone talk and you're like, oh my gosh, I've never thought of that way, or never even thought of this at all in what I'm about to say. And that was one of the moments I just had. So I was listening to you talk about your past, which, let's face it, I mean, I know from the stories well, right? Because we've talked about it a great deal. And so I was listening to you talk about your past. And you were talking about how you read every book, you did all the courses, you did all of this, right? You're such a thinker, right? And so it's almost as if you learned your way out of where you were, right? And so you're such a thinker, and what am I?
You're a feeler.
I'm a feeler, right?
Yes.
Because I was reflecting back to some of my darkest days. And, you know, I was not depressed. I mean, well, again, really, I don't know. Maybe it does fall under the characteristics of depressed. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I do know that my entire life was spent in the doing for others as opposed to taking care of anything for myself.
Yes.
And I had grown highly resentful of everybody in my world. I found myself in abusive relationships. And I mean relationships, you know, bosses and friends and everybody was kind of taking advantage of me. And one day I literally just remember feeling, it was a feeling for me. I felt like I was surviving. I wasn't living. I felt stuck.
Yeah.
I felt angry. I felt everything. So I wasn't thinking through the process. I was feeling the process. And that was the day that I was like, you know what? I am so far away. I felt so far away from the person who I was when I was a child. And it's like I remembered that free spirit, that loving, that outgoing, that the one who was the charismatic, bubbly girl.
Yes.
I was so far away from that. I was like, what the fuck happened?
Yeah.
Right? And so for me, it's like I felt my way out of it.
Yeah.
And I just saying all that to say that, like, whether you, it doesn't matter what angle you're coming at it from, right? We all know when we're stuck. We all know when we're in survival mode. We all know when it doesn't feel good.
Right.
Doesn't matter what avenue you're learning that from about yourself, right?
Absolutely.
But the whole point of me saying that obviously is that these 4 tools are the ones that saved my life as well.
Absolutely.
You know, not necessarily in the same way.
Sure.
But they saved my life as well.
Absolutely. And saved your life is a contextual, relative thing. I literally would have offed myself.
Right.
You literally would have skimmed the surface of existing for 80 years and then died.
Exactly.
Right? And they're both of those are living death. Right? Guys, there have been some beautiful, beautiful comments that have come in. How, you know, Erica says we're appreciated. Sharon, thank God you're both here because, you know, we are here because of you two. Thank you so much for these beautiful comments. I get tickled listening to Carrie. Part of my tuning into your show is seeing who you are today. It makes me happy. That's just beautiful, Carrie. You have no idea how much that means to me. So, guys, please keep these comments coming. And if we're earning it so far, give us a share. Let everyone know what we're talking about. It's clearly such a powerful topic. So please do that now if you could for us. Just a quick reminder, our whole program, How to Eliminate Your Limits or Let's Eliminate Your Limits, How to Finally Achieve the Goals You Set, goes live tomorrow. I should make this point right now. And I'm going to make it briefly because I want to move on to our kids and your kids. Okay? Yeah. Why is it called How to Finally Achieve the Goals You Set? Why? You ever thought about that? Because we're talking about depth here.
Right.
We're talking about things that are more deep. Well, Seth Godin, who's one of our favorite authors of all time, writes really crisp passages about this particular reality. He says, don't try to change people's minds. Stick to the worldview. What the statistics and surveys typically say and explain is that most people in the world, they relate to things like, I can't achieve my goals.
Right.
They relate to things like, I feel like I have limits or I'm limiting myself. So if we literally call things that, then there's much more of an aptitude you have in saying that he's talking to me. Right. Or they're talking to me. Yeah. That's a very interesting way of looking at it, right? So that whole program goes live tomorrow. We'll announce that tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern on our Brian and Carrie in the morning show.
We'll be in the morning tomorrow, just so you know.
Unless something stupid happens.
There is a freezing rain warning in effect.
No shit. Like, you never can tell.
Lisa, Lisa Arsenault just made a beautiful comment. If only you knew how you both have helped me save myself. I don't even.
So appreciate that.
All I have.
Yes, Joe, stick to the worldview. Always. Don't try to change minds. Right? Give them what resonates, and then the rest will happen. I'm just so interested right now. Can I say something? Curie, are you still there?
Oh my God, you're so
I think it's awesome that she's here.
She's going to watch right to the end of the show.
Are we
seeing Curie at Christmas time? Did I hear
She's coming home at Christmas.
It's like been 2 Christmases, Curie, that I've been expecting to meet you.
No, she's totally stiffed us, but whatever.
Good morning, or good evening, Lise Daigo La Liberté.
Nice.
Welcome to the show.
Brian Sackwood says his growth in just a month is amazing to me. Well, wait till you get like a year into this program, buddy.
Right. It just gets better and better.
So I was going to say, let me say this now, okay? What do we want to talk about our kids for? And what we want to talk about mirrors for? Well, let me say this. We've talked about testimony. We've talked about that testimony from that demographic, etc. we've talked about our reflections on our own lives.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know who else can give great testimony to the effectiveness, the efficacy of this program and how it changes lives? Our two kids. Okay, and here's why. When we got home from Spain, if you don't know the story, we got home from Spain on a Monday night. Now understand, we lived in downtown Montreal, and this home we have right now was a mountain home for us. We'd come up here on the weekends, when the kids weren't in school. So it's not like we just, found a place to live one day. We had this home. Mm-hmm. We came home from Spain on a Monday night. On Tuesday morning, we woke up and said, hey, let's move to the mountains.
Let's do it.
And so we did that day. That day, we actually literally told the kids, we said, what do you guys think? They're both like, woohoo, let's do it. So we packed up our house in Montreal. We donated everything we didn't want to take. We drove to the kids' schools and informed the schools, we're out of here. Mm-hmm. And we drove up here Tuesday night. Right. Been here ever since. Now, the number one question about that story that we have gotten from private messages from people around the world, and it's not been a cynical question. People are generally intrigued because their experiences with their kids are not this experience. Yeah. How did you get your kids to not get stressed about that?
To go along with it.
To go along with it and not get stressed. And oh my God, I can't even imagine asking my kids to do something like that. How did you do it? It's worth a conversation. It's worth a conversation for you to consider if you're a parent. But if you're not a parent, or even if you are, we want you to look at this as you being the nexus. Okay, the nexus of this influential circle around you. Okay? Your kids, your friends, your husband, your wife, these are mirrors of you. Okay? Why do our kids attack life with gusto? Why do they not stress the small things? Why are they sad to leave their friends, but really happy for a new life discovery? Why? Well, because we've taught them to learn their language. Every night at dinner, we count our wins as a family. We help them review their direction in life. We teach them and encourage them, more than teach, to imagine the possibilities. Yeah. Not the alternatives, the possibilities. So to the 78 people who have messaged us over the last 2 weeks, how did you get your kids not to flip out? Our kids are mirrors of us. To them, life is a grand experiment of discovery. Yeah. It is an oyster waiting to be, seen. It is not to be, what am I missing? Or why is this change? Or how should I be? It is about the expansion of life, the experience, the desire to feel and see and not be bound by realities that really are insignificant in the end. Completely insignificant. Yeah. That's how we do it. Yeah. Yeah. So I don't want to say that. I'm sorry to interrupt.
It's okay. No, I interrupted you.
I'm not saying that. We're not saying that to trumpet how epic parents we are. We're saying that to give you food for thought as your own influence. Who are you in your kids' lives? Who are you in your husband, your wife, your friends' lives? Yeah. Right? That's number one. Number two, our shit works. Little kids have adopted it so seamlessly that they will transition to a mountain home like that. Without any cause, any concern, any worry. And that's unheard of.
Yeah. I want
to get looking at this stuff.
Can I give two practical examples?
Yeah.
Because, I think every time we talk about this, now the first thing that, when I say this, I mean, with regards to our children, people often ask us, how do you integrate this type of stuff with kids, right? That's usually the first question that comes, right? How do you integrate this with kids? Right. And I always make the kind of cute joke, like, our kids are the youngest clients we've ever had, students we've ever had, and but the point is that we don't sit them down in a chair and start teaching them counting your wins. Okay, this is counting your wins. This is how you're going to own your perspective. We don't teach them that way, right? So that's the first thing I want to say. The second thing I want, and I'm going to go a little bit further with that in a second because I really want to elaborate on that. But the second thing that I want to say is that, somebody made the comment, and I'm not speaking to the person who made this comment, but somebody wrote, children are like sponges, right? Yes, absolutely. But that is another one of those pieces of rhetoric that we all say, kids are like sponges, but we're not really truly grasping hold of what that means, right? Yep. So for all the parents who are watching right now, yes, your children are like sponges, and we all know that they're gonna observe more than they're gonna hear. So it's not what you say that matters, it's what you're doing, right?
What you do.
How did we teach our kids to learn their language? Well, the first thing that we did was we learned our language. Mm-hmm. We checked our language to make sure that we're not walking around the house, like I'm going to use school and moving, for example. We're not spewing words of like, how are we going to do this? I don't know if we're going to be able to do this. What happens if this happens? We're not spewing that kind of perspective on the language that's going to put them in a bad place where they're going to stress it,
We're talking about adventure. We're talking about fun. We're talking about creativity. We're talking about experience.
Exactly. Yep. So the first thing we do is we learn we do it ourselves, right? Now, I want to give you, because sometimes people say, oh, you guys just have awesome kids. But I really want to paint the picture here. And a picture, I'm going to actually use Chase.
Yeah.
Because when Chase was 4 years old,
he was a shit.
He was... I mean, we used to make a joke with him, he was like almost like obsessive compulsive. Like, he was such a child who was such a creature of habit. Now, I worked in the area back then with kids with special needs. So, there was a lot of characteristics that he had that were almost autistic-like. And I have no problem saying that, where if we took a different path to go to the store, he would freak out, right? So now, obviously, we were aware of that. But this was a kid who needed to have his routine the exact same way every single day. If we took path A instead of path B, he would freak out, right? That change was not in his vocabulary.
It wasn't in his biology.
Right.
Right? So we talk about nature versus nurture.
Exactly.
It wasn't in his DNA to enjoy change.
At all.
Quite the opposite.
And then last week when we asked him, why are you looking forward to, to going to a new school? And his answer, no joke, was because I like change. That didn't happen overnight. That happened, we talked about that grasp, that path, by walking a path with them over and over and over again and reinforcing these 4 tools that we are giving to you guys to be able to use in your life to create that amongst them. So yes, they're amazing kids.
Yes.
But they're amazing kids because they know how to own their perspective.
That's right.
Right?
Which is a learned process.
Exactly.
So for us, and I want to, maybe this is going to be huge and hubris and arrogant to somebody watching right now.
Probably not.
But it's not for me. We've built this entire program to be generational.
Yeah.
Okay, how do you raise the next generation of amazing people? You become amazing. That's it.
Absolutely.
There's no tactics to parenting. There's no fucking strategies to parenting. There's be the best version of yourself. Your kids are a mirror. They want to be you.
Right.
And if you don't agree with that, you're not paying attention.
Yeah.
Kids strive to be like the greatest influences in their life, which means 2 things. You have to want to be the greatest influence in their life by being the best version of you. And secondly, you have to decide to not play victim, which is, but they've got video games and TV and YouTube and their friends, and I'm not their biggest influence in life. Well, then become it. You know who my best friend is? My daughter. When she's not sleeping and not in school, we're basically inseparable. That's not an accident. That's not because she was biologically born that way. I have purposely built a relationship with my kids. Carrie is we are their greatest influencers, and that's not going to change.
Yeah.
Right? But just think about that in a victimless reality. Too many parents, too much media, too much socialization is convincing everybody that there are these insurmountable pressures that we as parents can't possibly overcome. Well, I want to say something. You ever notice that, and whoever the cool kid is a matter of perspective. It's a matter of relative. Right? So your circle of influence dictates who the cool kid is. So the big concern that a lot of parents and educators have is that kids flock to the cool kid. Well, how about becoming the cool kid? How about becoming the ambitious, the funny, the go-getter, the one who achieves, the one who is personable, the one who's charitable, the one who is always helping. How about becoming the cool kid? Your kids flock to that. So anyways,
Yeah.
I went on a bit of a soapbox there.
That's all good.
But, you
it's
know.
all good. I'm going to get you a little soapbox.
Yes!
I'm going to get a little soapbox around the counter. But I want to add two things. The first thing I want to add is someone a little while ago, and I can't remember who it was, asked how to get her husband to go along with these things, right? And the answer is the same. It really, really is. You don't get your husband to do anything. You don't get your wife to do anything. You don't try to change anybody.
Yeah.
Change yourself. And I mean
Right.
that so wholeheartedly. Like, I have watched this work in motion.
Yes.
The number of couples who I have worked with personally, we have worked with personally, who are on the verge of divorce. And one of those people come to us. So the husband or the wife comes to us and says, you know what? My husband's always doing this, and this. It's all him. And I say, you know what? You got to stop. You got to look at yourself, because it doesn't matter what he's doing. There's a dance going on there, right?
Yes.
So stop and take control of what you can in your perspective and start to shift it for yourself. And you watch what's going to happen, because he's going to start to fall in line with you. As human beings, we all want to ascend.
Yes.
It's in our DNA to evolve, to get better, to do more, right?
Agreed.
So be the mirror that you want your husband to become.
Yes.
And it's amazing. We just had a great conversation about that today, you and I,
Yeah.
where we were talking about where we elevate each other.
Yes.
You know, in different ways. Look, there are certain things in particular. I'm going to be honest. Like, when it comes to Brian, just loves to learn. Like, don't get me wrong, I love to learn, but Brian thirsts to learn. Like, he will watch documentaries. He will, read the most interesting articles. And
I'm kind of a nerd.
I'm much more of an observer than I am like a tactical, practical learner.
Yep.
But it inspires me to watch him do that. He doesn't look at me and go, Carrie, you need to read more. Like, he doesn't do that.
Sure.
He does it himself, and it inspires me to want to do more.
Absolutely.
So when you're asking yourself that question, there's your answer.
Yeah. First of all, that was a great mic drop. Second of all, Karen Roberts, well, I guess wasn't as bad as I thought. If my kids are a mirror of me, well done. Love Sakowitz. That's why when my son says, let's go through the football this afternoon, I put down I'm doing and I go.
Beautiful.
Love these comments, guys. Even my 17-month-old, I try to get her interested in things besides the TV or iPad. I try to get her to help me do chores, play with education toys, play outside. Well done. Your 17-month-old is gonna love what you love. All right, that's a huge. Billy Reuter, what's up, big boy? The only thing you control is yourself. Exactly, Michael. Lead by example. That's what we need more politicians to do. That's what we need more everybody to do. Kiri Sandy says she loves that, Carrie. Yeah, you guys are all
Yeah, I got
awesome.
the ex-girlfriend vote.
Yes, well played. So, guys, what is our point of talking about our own testimony, of talking about our kids' testimony, of talking about the freedom we have in our lives? We have freedom to move where we want. We live in 4 suitcases, which is a show we're going to tell you about
Soon.
probably this week or next. We're going to show you our suitcases, what's in it. We could pick up and leave to Italy. Kiri, we're coming in 25 minutes if we want.
We've actually talked about that.
We have actually talked about that. So, we have freedom. We are blessed. We feel fulfilled. We feel grateful. And it all comes down to these 4 exercises and the simplicity and consistent application of them. So, yeah, at some point this week, we're going to tell you about other people like you who have used this program effectively and how it's changed their lives. We're going to talk about athletes and families who have members with special needs. We're going to talk about corporate CEOs and entrepreneurs who have changed their fortunes in life. We're going to tell you all about that. But on the eve of this kicking off, tomorrow, 10 a.m. Eastern Time, Brian and Carrie in the morning, barring an act of God that would prevent us from having Brian and Carrie in the morning, actually in the morning.
Or Mother Nature.
Or Mother Nature, yeah, same thing, right? Isn't it?
I don't think so.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Whatever. I live in a warped reality.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you
That's
off.
all good. It all goes live tomorrow. And that's why we're starting here with this, talking about our testimony and our kids' testimony. Because to us, that's the most authentic way we could possibly explain it to you.
Can anybody see the think in my eye?
Yeah, I can. I
Can
can
you
smell
see it? Okay, so I was just sitting here reading the comments that were coming in.
Yeah.
And I would be really remiss to not point this out.
Yeah.
Not everybody, a lot of people just got really good at talking about what they do for other people in their life.
Okay.
And they're kids, like, oh, you know, when my kid calls, I put things down and I go. I'm doing already great with my grandson.
Oh, this is cool.
All beautiful stuff. Really and truly, I think that's beautiful. So I'm asking this question. I'm not asking this to Brian. I'm just using it as an example. How often do you put down what you're doing to go play football by yourself? And what I mean by that is, how often are you guys actually tending to your own garden,
yes,
rather than the one of the people on the outside? Because let me tell you, that is where yes, we want to have that balance. We want to be there for the people in our lives, but we have got to start by being there for ourselves. So I'm not pointing fingers at anybody. I just think it's worthwhile shining a light on that.
It's worth noting. I agree. I completely agree. I think we run into societal dogmatism, and we tend to slant. And again, I'm with Carrie on erring on the side of making sure no one out there right now thinks we're talking about them specifically, because we're not. We are raising the point, though. It's great that we drop everything and run. Insofar as what our kids want, or mom wants, or our wife wants, but is there any part of us that is losing ourselves in that? Yeah. Right? And that's something we have to learn ourselves.
Just some food for
just
thought.
something to consider. Yeah. Kelsey, is that Kelsey? Who said, yes, we will announce everything tomorrow. Yeah. Kelsey, I agree with you. Always put yourself first. Selfish has become a stupid word. It's selfish is not bad. Selfish is good. Where are you supposed to put the oxygen mask first in the event that an airplane loses cabin pressure? On yourself. And it's not subtle. It's not subtle. If we lose oxygen pressure, masks will fall from the ceiling. Be certain to secure your oxygen mask first. There's no subtlety there. You ready? If you can't breathe, then you are of little use to anybody else.
Right.
Okay, so selfish is important to be the greatest leader.
Yeah.
You must put yourself first. Become the greatest version of you. That's how kids, wives, husbands, etc., 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 come with you. Woo! Where's my mic? I want to drop it. Kiri Sandy says agreed. What's Kiri Sandy agreeing to?
I think she's agreeing with what you just said.
Well, thanks, man.
She's a woman.
Thanks, Kiri.
Guys, you know what? I want to say this. Sometimes things don't happen for a reason. And this morning's show didn't happen. And I firmly believe right now that was for a reason, because some of the stuff we shared with you was through conversation that happened today. Like, we knew what we were talking about today, but there was things that kind of got added to it as the day progressed. Because every day is a new day, right? So we all learn and experience as we grow. Yeah. But this show was meant for tonight. So I'm just really happy that you all were able to be here with us and watch.
Me as well. Just a couple of comments. Connie, absolutely, in doing hospice for my son, that was a large lesson for me. I love that comment. Steve Montefinesse, I wish you guys were around when my kids were little. I did not do a good job. You're coming to our October retreat. We're going to make sure that that's not the language we keep using. Just so you know. Just so you know. So much love for you, though. Lisa Arsenault taking care of herself right now in free nature. That's beautiful. I love this, guys. These are great.
Amazing.
Good, not food. Yes, Steve.
Where's my crew at?
Oh, go. I was backwards. You surprised me.
I just decided to throw it out there.
Can we end the show with a nice crew chant?
Yeah, we can. You guys will be back if you're going to be here tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Eastern to find out how to get your hands on the goods. Yeah. Chime in and let us know, because I want to know if we're going to see your faces tomorrow morning.
Before we do a crew chant, I want to know also. So I'm going to sit here and look at the monitor.
I thought you were going to crew while they were signing in.
Where's my crew at?
Crew. I can't. Oh, ever since Loria asked me how many crews I do.
We have to standardize this, because if we do not standardize this, then...
It's totally throwing me off.
Right? When we do live events. By the way, I'm going to ask one more question to Carrie Sandy. First of all, you have to let us know if you're here, Carrie Sandy. Oh, look at all the crews rolling in.
I want to know what question you're going to ask Kiri.
Oh, I can't tell you. It's going to be a big surprise.
Can I tell you, Kiri, if you're still here, how Brian has spent lots of time talking about your hair.
Her hair's awesome.
Lots of, like, legitimately. Like, my hair hasn't been long for a really long time, right? So he keeps asking me, like, he always asks me, like, what's your hair like when it's long? And I actually say it looks like Kiri's.
Kiri's hair's
It's
the
the
shit.
funniest thing.
Kiri's hair's legit. You know, it's also true if I used to jokingly I used to jokingly threaten that when she was sleeping on my lap, like when we'd be watching movies and she'd, like, sprawl out and sleep on my lap, I'd cut it.
No, you wouldn't.
I would never.
You would never do it. Yes, your hair, Kiri.
Your
I'm
hair
telling
is
you,
the
he talks
shit.
about your hair all the time.
Your hair is the shit. So here's my question to you, Kiri. If we, it's exactly the same as it ever was with a few grays now. What else?
This
I got grays in
is
there.
what Brian's going to do when he sees Kiri. Everybody watch me. He's going to
With her hair.
to her hair.
Oh my God, look at her hair.
I just need to give a big shout out to Dana Powell for
Yes.
chiming in because we have received some amazing messages from her over the last couple of
Yes,
weeks.
we
So
have.
big love to you.
Indeed.
You want to ask Kiri her question now?
Kiri, I have no hair. Good job, Michael. Head give me either, brother. If we hopped in a plane and came to Italy, would we? Let's hang. You want to hang? Let's go see Kiri.
I'm all for it.
Does that sound good to
you
you?
don't ever have to twist my arm to go anywhere.
But Italy.
We've actually talked about living where Kiri lives.
We have, but like not in the same house, because that'd be
No, 'cause
weird.
people need personal space.
Of course, but in that town,
Yeah.
right?
Anyways.
Yes, let's hang. You guys were a dreamboat. Thank you so much for being here, everybody. I kind of feel bad that this was such a Kiri-centric show for everybody else, but we hope you felt
You know what?
included.
It's all good.
It is all good.
She deserved some loving.
She stayed up till 3 o'clock in the morning for this.
Right?
Mad love to the whole crew. Be back here at
Mwah.
9:50 a.m. Eastern. We're launching How to Finally Achieve the Goals You Set.
See you tomorrow.
Bye, guys. Bounce, 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 bounce.